Sidelines with Rob Browne. Talk sporty to me.
Hi, Rob Browne here with you on this Saturday college roundtable. Sidelines. We are broadcasting live from the Cherry Farm in Parkin, Arkansas, and got a big show lined up for you today. Doug Dean will check in with us from down in Hale County. I think it's must be opening day of turkey season in Alabama. Also, we will have Frank Duffy broadcasting from somewhere. I'm not quite sure yet. I think he's in Florida. Bo Carter checks in from North Carrollton, just Dallas, really. He can see the Red River from his back deck. We'll also have Buddy Martin, GatorbaitMedia.com, in the second hour. So a lot of fun in store for today. Sidelines with you 6 days a week, and follow us on Twitter at Sidelines_live. We are here in Parkin, man. You have probably heard tornadoes rip through Arkansas yesterday and into Tennessee and some other states, but it did hit Wynn and Wynn, Arkansas. So we're going to go over there after the show today, MJ and I, and take some food to the people over there. But we're going to find out ways that people can directly send these people assistance. So they got hit really hard in Wynn, Arkansas. Man, I mean, what a day it was yesterday. And so we will get the word out, and a lot of people have asked how we can help, and we're going to find out exactly. Sheriff David West and County Judge Lynn Blake, they're over there at the command center. They've got a lot of volunteers, and they need food, and we'll find out what else and put it on our website and throughout the week, let people know what they can do to help. Man, college baseball underway. We got the Final Four. It's kind of hard. I got to get my mind on that today. Florida Atlantic, San Diego State, Miami, and UConn. So going to be some great games. And anybody, Frank Duffy, I want you to tell me that your bracket, your Final Four is something like UConn, San Diego State, Miami, and I'll make you miss one. You didn't get them all four right, did you?
No, and
yeah.
no.
Yeah, Frank, we got a lot of wind in the background. I can hardly maybe if you can switch in a direction where the wind, but
I'll flip around.
Okay, hardly anybody's got this right. The Final Four, but yesterday we had a pretty cool discussion on the show that and I'm trying to think. One of our guests was on. We had Olin Buchanan, Bo Carter. Jake Wimberly, that's who it was. Jake Wimberly from down in Jackson talked about the ticket prices for the women's Final Four were better than the men's Final Four. Great, looking great. And you know, that's hard to believe, but I love all these teams. Three of the four teams in the Final Four are there for the first time ever. And they are just they you know, I love it, but you know, they're saying the TV ratings and all are gonna suffer. I'm not buying that. Well, I guess they will, but that's the whole thing about the tournament is that everybody has a chance. Frank, don't you think this is we're going to go to a 12-team college football playoff? Nobody wants to see the same teams over and over except the fans of those same teams. I get that. Your thoughts? Yeah. Okay. You know, you can say all you want that, you know, Final Four is supposed to be North Carolina, Kentucky, Duke, and Kansas. That's great for those fan bases, and people like to see it. You've got UConn in the Final Four. They've got 4 national championships. So when people are going to try and tell you that, you know, this Final Four is off, it's just not the case. Frank, let me know when you can hear us. Frank, you're locking up. I guess you must be down there at the beach. Frank, can you hear us now? showing you. Okay, and back. I don't know, Frank. I like the Final Four matchup. Florida Atlantic, San Diego State, Miami, UConn. So what? UConn. If you're talking about what a heavy hitter is, UConn's got 4 national championships. But the tournament is not about just the same teams every year, is it?
No, absolutely not. And I love the fact that we got this kind of Cinderella foursome in here. UConn is definitely one of the blue bloods, always has been. But getting these other 3 teams in here, I think it's awesome. I think it's great for college basketball. That's the one thing that's different between college basketball and a lot of the other sports is, the cream normally rises to the top in these other sports. But with basketball, I mean, you've got a shot. You get a 6-game run in you as Cinderella, you can make it work. You can. And I love this. I think it's great for the game.
Yeah, and as far as the brackets, I would have to say this year probably you've got the worst brackets people have ever put out.
Sure.
I mean, that we go back to after the first day, March 16th, over 20 million brackets sent to ESPN. 653 were absolutely got 100% right. Out of over 20 million, 653 got it right. So that, and I could barely hear you, Frank. I don't know. I'm just.
Is that better, Rob?
Just,
I kind of
it's better now. Yeah. It's the wind coming in, but that shows you how hard it is to do. But again, I do love this part of it. It's a free for all. It's kind of like baseball in the SEC and the SEC West. You've got LSU on top of the world right now with Arkansas. Then you've got Auburn and Alabama, Texas A&M, and then Ole Miss and Mississippi State, both coming into the weekend at 0-12. But look, long way to go, Frank. And this is what makes college sports so exciting. It's not that predictable.
Sure. Well, and it's kind of funny because you've really got almost the exact opposite on the women's side. You had all the blue bloods make it up. I mean, that was some incredible basketball last night. I was toggling back and forth between LSU's women's game against Virginia Tech. And again, they upset a number 1. You had South Carolina, the beast in the East, wound up getting toppled by Iowa, who that girl in Iowa was just absolutely balling. So you have the 2 different sides. You have the royalties in the women's side that made it, and then you've got the Cinderella group on the men's side. And you want to talk about college baseball, Rob? I got something for you. Can you believe that Thursday night's game between LSU and Tennessee at the Box was the biggest crowd to ever watch a baseball game at Alex Box? And look, there's been some years that we've outdrawn the Miami Marlins in attendance, right? So we're talking about a program that has lots of people in the stands. A Thursday night game was the biggest attended game in LSU's history. So that will tell you where the health of collegiate baseball is, and especially collegiate baseball in the SEC, and especially collegiate baseball, at a place like LSU that just absolutely devours it.
Well, and we talked with Jimmy Ott a lot, ESPN 104.5 in Baton Rouge. There's like 25 or 30 media members that cover LSU baseball. I mean, that's more than some football programs have covering them in the SEC.
That's right. And I heard there were 46 credential requests to watch Tennessee and LSU play baseball on a Thursday night. That will tell you the health of college baseball. And it was kind of weird, Rob. After the LSU game last night, they put on the wonderful piece, the storied piece on SEC Network about Skip Bertman.
Yeah.
And to see where the beginnings of LSU baseball, and I got a couple of good buddies of mine, fraternity brothers that played LSU baseball in the 70s. In fact, Wally McMakin, one of my fraternity brothers, was actually interviewed on that piece, right? And talking about what LSU baseball was like before Skip came in. In fact, he was on the committee that actually hired Skip when Skip came in the early 80s. And it's amazing to see what just the excitement and what the passion for baseball was built at LSU, where it wasn't. I mean, it was dilapidated. I mean, those old coaches and those old teams of the 60s and 70s had hardly any interest. I mean, Alex Box was falling down. In fact, Coach Martin from Florida State joked on the piece that he was afraid to go get up in the bleachers to watch his guys take, batting practice because he was afraid he was going to fall through. So, no, I mean, these spring sports, and I think really that's what we're talking about, the spring sports, non-football, let's call it what it is, have never been healthier. And look, let me tell you something. I'll guarantee you, I don't know the numbers, but I'll guarantee you LSU women's basketball has brought in cash. It's probably a paying concern nowadays with the excitement of Kim Mulkey. And, I said it on air, but I guess about 2 months ago, I said not only will Kim Mulkey win one national championship, she might win a couple. Her and Brian Kelly, I think, might be a race for multiples, honestly. And danged if she didn't go out and now find herself in a championship game. And by the way, that's the first time that LSU on the women's side or the men's side has ever been in a national championship game. Been to Final Fours, but never been in the championship game.
Yeah, I mean, Kim Mulkey won 3 national championships at Baylor. So that part right there, that is impressive. She's able to pull that off. So you look at it again, the ticket prices. You got how much does the stadium where they're having arena? Is that Reliant Arena in Houston where they're having the Final Four? 55 or 60,000?
I think it's Dallas. I think it's Dallas.
No, it's Houston where they're having. No, the men's.
The men's.
About the women's. Yeah, the women's is in Dallas because Bo Carter.
Yes.
Bo Carter's
I'm sorry,
going to be
I thought we were talking about the women. Sorry. Yep.
Yeah. But I'm just talking about when you flip it over to the men and compare it to the women. The men are in Houston, and according to Jake Wimberly, that wind in the background.
Is it still too bad?
Yeah, I'll just have Audrey mute you in between.
Okay.
But the thing is, Houston Reliant Arena, I don't know how big it is, but the ticket prices there are supposedly way down, and the women's prices are higher. There's more demand for those than the men's. I mean, Jake Wimberly said that on the show yesterday, and that is hard to believe. But that's Kim Mulkey. That's Dawn Staley at South Carolina. Those 2 SEC coaches, between the 2 of them, have 5 or 6 national championships. Put that in perspective. Pat Summitt at Tennessee won 8 national championships. So that's incredible. But the men's game versus the women's game, coaches will tell you, like Matt Dean, it's more of a pure game. The women's, in terms of strategy and all, it's not all about the dunks and 3-pointers and all. It's what men's basketball used to be, much more X's and O's. It's fun. It's fun to watch. Frank, you hit on it. The spring sports, the popularity, baseball, softball. That's softball. Everywhere you go in the SEC,
huge.
There's an emphasis. It's big, isn't it?
It's huge. We have our personal friend, Skylar Wallace, is a player for Florida. She went to school with our son. So I get to see her mom does posts about, Florida Gator softball, and, I'll see some posts from LSU softball, but it's amazing how much they're filling the stands. But to your point about the women's as well, Rob, about being a fundamental game, it reminds me of basketball when Princeton would come into the tournament and they would run their plays and their set plays, and they were so precision and so fundamentally sound. Well, that's what you're getting with the women's game. But here's the amazing thing. The athleticism on the women's side has come light years, really in like the last 15 years. I mean, let's face it, it was kind of hard to watch women's basketball about 20 years ago. It was just the athleticism wasn't that compelling. Not anymore. What these girls are doing, it's incredible. And some of them are just taking over games, like that young lady from Iowa last night. Just a magnificent game, 41 points in a championship, semifinal, is just incredible. So no, and to your point about the spring sports, again, they were always considered the lesser sports. But let me tell you, the interest in track. I mean, look, Arkansas's indoor track championship. It's just a healthy time for athletics, and it's great. And go out if you're a supporter of Auburn or Arkansas or LSU or Alabama or Florida. Go out and support these kids, man. They're out there busting it. They're performing at a high level. I mean, look at gymnastics. Gymnastics is insane right now. Talk about a tough ticket. Try getting into a gymnastics meet. So it's really a healthy time in collegiate athletics. And by the way, no credit to the NCAA. I think it's just the drive of these universities and these incredible student athletes that has really propelled us.
Well, Frank, we're going to take a break here in just a second, come back, but and Bo Carter's going to join us, and Bo's out in Dallas, and he was at that Conference USA tournament a few weeks ago, talked about, hey, watch out for Florida Atlantic, and he's also there where the women's Final Four is. He said the state of Texas this weekend is the center of the universe for both men's and women's college basketball. I mean, that's a pretty big deal in the Lone Star State. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. Frank, feed those seagulls if you're at the beach. I envy you. It's a good-looking view. Bo Carter, all of us, right back in 30 seconds.
Hey, y'all. It's Ainsley from Hewlett & Dunn, just coming to let you know about our new collection of boots. It's going to be our dress boots. They're the Horsepower collection. And they're genuine exotic leathers and really comfortable. Comes in all different sizes and patterns, so come check them out.
Hi, I'm Eleanor Maynard, a fourth-generation residential broker with Hobbs & Realtors. Inventory is still a record low in Memphis, and the demand for more supply is continuing to spread across the Mid-South. Rates are starting to stabilize, which means the number of buyers is picking up daily. If you are interested in taking advantage of today's market, please give me, Eleanor Maynard, your Sidelines Live residential specialist, a call today, and let's discuss your needs. 901-761-1622 or directly on my mobile, 901-219-1905. That's 219-1905.
Red River Ford and Toyota, located in Wynne, Arkansas. If you're in the market for a new or used car, truck, or SUV, call, go online, or drop by and see them. Located 45 minutes from Memphis, go off the 4-city exit on I-40 and go north about 15 minutes on Highway 1. Easy to work with and still believe in customer service. If you live out of town, they will deliver your vehicle to you. RedRiverFordToyota.com. Just see what they can do.
Strengthen your seed zone this spring with quality tillage equipment from House Industries. Located in Cherry Valley, Arkansas, House Industries specializes in manufacturing superior equipment that will minimize your downtime and keep you working in the field. To ensure the highest quality control, all design, fabrication, and testing takes place in a 99,000 square foot manufacturing facility located right here in the heart of the Delta. Locate your nearest House equipment dealer online at houseindustriesinc.com.
House Industries, breaking ground.
Sidelines with Rob Browne. Talk sporty to me.
Hey, Bo, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Frank. I hope Rob and somebody got killed in Wynne, Arkansas.
Yeah, I think they got knocked off. Man, they had it rough. My prayers out for all of our buddies in Arkansas. I saw the devastation. I saw a couple of tapes on it last night, some news feeds, and they got hit hard. I hope our buddies over at Red River made it out okay.
Me too. Little Rock, really, they said they had one killed and like 5 people in critical condition. It tore swath through there. I tell you what, it's really ugh.
And this is 2 weekends in a row. You know, when we had Coach Thompson on last Saturday, and it just ripped through Mississippi, where there was about 25, 26 deaths.
Yeah.
So unbelievable. Yeah, Rob just texted me. They're having technical difficulties. I'm guessing we're still on. I guess we're still broadcasting.
Run the show.
I'm okay. Well, we're here talking about the Final Four. So what's it like there right now in Dallas? I mean, I watched the women Tigers play Virginia Tech last night, and then I caught a little bit of the South Carolina-Iowa game. Watch that girl just go absolutely crazy. What is it like? It's got to be real exciting.
It is. The Iowa Hawkeye fans have taken over Dallas, so it's really, they must have had 2,000 people. It'll be a mob scene Sunday. Iowa and LSU both like butting heads. They were the 2 largest representation of fan bases. It'll be quite a spectacle. I was just got the kids that. Caitlin Clark's playing out of her mind right now.
It's crazy. I mean,
back-to-back game.
41 points and literally run that offense and I mean, she was making cuts to the basket, rebounding. I mean, it was impressive. I mean, she was incredible.
I think Rob's back with us as a pumpkin. Rob, are you on there with us?
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we kept the show going, brother. We've been talking about the women's Final Four.
I've come through as the pumpkin head. It must be Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween. Hey, we were just talking about how Iowa came and really showed up and traveled well.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to that and I was going, thank guys, keep it going. It's like the old days on TV, you know, with the organ music kind of playing up, you know, you're experiencing technical difficulties. Kind of like some of those early Mildred calls on the Feinbaum show. You go,
yeah.
I hope we have a job tomorrow when we come to work.
That's right. And the Indian chief at night when it would sign off.
Yep.
Yes.
That's
sign language. I love those days. But no, hey, look, I don't know if we got a new internet provider yesterday, and we have new service, and so we just we'll make it work somehow. But
and Rob, you got to think service has been affected because of the storm and all the.
Yeah.
You got it. I mean, I'll guarantee you that's going on. Did you hear how our buddies over at Red River did? Did they make it out?
I talked to them. Yeah, I talked to the people at Red River Ford Toyota, and they didn't get hit. And most of the destruction's on the south end of Wynn, down by the high school, which was, I mean, it looked like the high school was exploded. And there's a lot of houses and businesses, and they have 4 confirmed deaths there, and I don't know how many people are injured, but we're going over there after the show. But I would imagine, I know that you could not get in last night on a cell phone.
Sure.
Oops.
Well, they probably do that, of course, Rob, obviously for security reasons. They don't want looters going in, and so I mean that's standard.
Over there. Because I just said, what can we do to help? So we're going to go over there and find out, and then get to do everything that we, our part to help. But Chad House, another one of our friends over there in Cherry Valley, right next to it, ECS House Industries. There are going to be a lot of people going over there to help. But it was. I'm sure that is part of the problem with the service today. And I don't know. I think we have Verizon now, so hopefully.
Our boys from Lake Charles ought to go over there with the smoker. And I'm sure Walmart's like donating stuff, especially in Arkansas. I mean, their home state. They could probably get some ground beef and buns and get that smoker going and cook up food for all the responders. I would think they'd be well welcomed.
Yeah, we're making hot dogs. MJ's out there right now going to buy all the meat we can find. But yeah, I think I know the National Guard was deployed over the weekend, and I'm sure they're in Little Rock too. And Covington, Tennessee, Tipton County, right above Memphis, got hit pretty hard. But yeah, we're gonna go over there and take them a bunch of food and see what we can do. But yeah,
and a big smoker on site where they can bring the meat. They probably got lots of meat. They probably don't have the cooking facilities.
Yeah,
so our boys from Lake Charles, that Cajun Navy down their way in Lake Charles and Lafayette and Houma, there's some good people. Let me tell you, when there's an emergency, they're on it. So I'll guarantee they'd be willing to wheel that smoker over there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They've got a command center. That's what we've been told. Yeah. So we're gonna go there and they're gonna tell you where to go. So we'll definitely be reporting back, putting stuff out over the weekend. And I'm glad there's a lot of people care. And Bo, we've been talking about this, and also, Bo, when you get down to it, Bo, when you get down to it, Bo, Jake Wimberly said on the show yesterday that the ticket prices for the women's Final Four are higher than the men's Final Four. And now, is that what you're hearing? I mean, you've been behind the scenes.
I think they have tickets available for both sessions for the men's Final Four. With the if it'd been like we were talking the other day, if it'd been Houston or Texas, they would have packed the place. But and again, 4 great teams. Not a really big fan base for any of them as far as basketball. So it's but hopefully the locals show up, and a lot of people just come for a lot of Villanova fans. It's like the NCAA World Series, Robert. So Frank's seen this. There's many LSU fans up there as any participating school in Mississippi State. They come up there and tailgate for 10 days.
Well, because you're going to see great baseball, you're going to see great basketball.
That's right.
If you're not a fan of these particular universities, just go. I mean, if you go pick up a $45 ticket and be in the arena for a semi or a final, holy mackerel, that's awesome.
Yeah, and Bo, I mean, what are the prices going for the women's Final Four?
I have not seen it. I need to get on StubHub and check. I'm sitting this one out with the ankle, still finishing the ankle rehab, but it's doing a lot, watching on TV, having a gave up. So I'm not having a full one.
I heard, Rob, some of the tickets for the LSU game, that session, the 2 games, were going just regular up top tickets were about $300, $350.
And the men's tickets are going for what? A steamer pack of crystals and a
15
hearty handshake?
Yeah, you can get a decent ticket to men's right now, honestly, for $50.
That's a pretty good deal.
I mean,
yeah, I'd go.
I tell you what, that's why the people on TV push that narrative of, they want the so-called blue bloods. But, and Jake Wimberly said something yesterday. He made a series of great points. One of them was, we all love the underdog, early on in March Madness, but we want, not saying we, but collectively people, they want the heavyweights in the Final Four.
And they don't want them going past the Elite 8.
Well, yeah, but I got to tell you, I
like
love
it.
I do too. San Diego State, the Aztecs, Florida Atlantic, the Barred Owls. You got UConn, which is a heavy hitter, and Miami. Look, the story, it's the Beach Boys. I mean, that's the story of this Final Four. And I'm not in TV. I'm not an executive at ESPN or CBS or TNT or Turner or True TV. There's like 4 different networks that carry these games, but it's basketball, it's competition. And I tell you one thing, you can argue this, you can say this, the officials did not carry the, quote, heavy hitters to the Final Four, gentlemen. They let them play.
And that's good. That's good. By the way, you got to watch this just for Jim Nantz alone.
Yeah. It's last hurrah.
Yeah, for his last 3 calls, you got to listen to this.
Wait, Bo, is this really? Is he really? He's a young man.
Yeah, he has a second marriage. He's got a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old, and he said he wanted to spend more time with them. And Jim's all-time great guy. He's been traveling like crazy. I mean, football, they're on the road 3 or 4 days a week, and basketball the last from now, from early March to the championship, he doesn't see the house. So he's deserved it, and really it's going to be the kind of ironic thing. He was really hoping the way Houston was playing earlier, and Jim played golf at Houston, very strong alumnus down there, but he was kind of hoping the Cougars might make it down. And I know the NCAA was too, but it just, that's basketball. That's why they play the games.
Are they going to sell out Reliant Arena, Bo, for the Final Four?
Any of the games? I would think, Frank, they'll come close if they don't. I'm trying to think for basketball. I think it seats like 56,000 or whatever. But sorry, the old Astrodome is sitting there with equipment from the city of Houston. It's been declared an historic building or whatever, historic site or whatever, but they just don't know what to do with the the air conditioning alone. They said to revamp the Astrodome would be like about $50 million. So it's been a big, of course, a debate there, but it was amazing. Remember the UCLA? You're probably too young to watch it, but the UCLA Houston game down there in the late '60s, man, that was the height of college basketball right there.
Okay, all right. Well, look, I'll say this much: we're gonna bring Frank back on, and know you got some wind out there, but you talked about historic deals, the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis. I mean, there are a lot of people that don't want to tear it down because of all the great history there, and of course, Monday Night Wrestling. I mean, how many hair matches and loser leaves town matches were there? And I remember Joe Dean one time doing a basketball game with Tom Hammond in the Mid-South Coliseum. They're talking about literally raise the roof. A little string music from Beale Street,
I was just going to say
Memphis,
it.
Tennessee. Stufferino.
Chris Jackson behind the line,
Frank Duffy.
string music for the Tigers.
Joe, Bo and Frank, Bo, did you? I'm sure you dealt with Joe Dean.
Knew Joe every week every month for about 12 years at Mississippi State. One of the all-time great guys. Rob, the best, really quick Joe Dean story. He said his goal in life was to buy an NBA team, and he said first thing to do is to line them up at midcourt and kick them all in the butt for not hustling.
He was awesome. Hey, it's a funny story. So I was up at Thompson Bowling watching LSU in the regionals when Stanley Roberts and Shaq and Chris Jackson were making that run, and the rumors started flying about Chris Jackson leaving early, and me and my buddy were like literally on like the second row, and Joe Dean was about 3 rows below us. So we slipped him a note like it was high school. Hey, Joe, can you give us any insight on whether CJ's staying or going? He turned around and gave us that classic Joe Dean grin. He didn't give us nothing. I was like, I knew he didn't give us nothing.
Hey, Frank, hang on. Frank, look, I know you got a little wind out there, but you're at the beach. So Bo and I are living vicariously through you because actually the sun is coming. I'm looking out west toward Crowley's Ridge, and the sun is beautiful the day after all those storms. But Joe Dean, what he and Tom Hammond did, they just brought basketball. They made it fun, and they were regional guys who were better than the national guys. And Bo, you'd have to agree with that. I mean, when you think about the quality of the broadcast and building up a base of fans to watch college basketball. That's I mean, Joe Dean, just those sayings that he'd have on there. And
Jefferson Pilot was much watched, man. Jefferson Pilot game on Saturdays was the big deal.
Yeah, and I remember when they opened up the Dean Smith Center up there. Are they gonna call it the Dean Smith Center? Oh baby, this is the Dean Dome. Oh my! Dick Vitale. Remember people used to call him that? Of course, I remember one time being in the bookstore at Auburn for a game one time, and this fella was going, "Yeah, I listened to that old Paul Finnebaum on the radio every other day or so." Finnebaum. Like, just taking the English classes, son. But hey, but both of y'all, I'm trying not to laugh, but it's just I think about Joe Dean, that look he had. Wasn't he a Converse shoe salesman?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Could you imagine Joe Dean and Mr. Haney from Green Acres double teaming you on a sales call?
Well, we got that. We
Douglas.
got our senator. Senator Kennedy is like the reincarnation of Mr. Haney. I love it.
Of Mr. Haney.
And let me tell you something. Joe Dean was a hell of a player at LSU.
He
was a hell of a basketball player.
He played with Bob Pettit and all that game.
Yeah, he sure did. I mean, we had some great teams. Absolutely. In fact, you just interviewed was it you? Oh, no. It was my buddy Scott Alexander who had Bob Pettit on for his television show. Just interviewed him. He's like, pushing 90 and as spry as can be. He would be a great person to get on, Rob. I need to get Bob Pettit on for you.
Look, I would love to hear him. And you talk about Senator Kennedy from Louisiana. He and Pat Bertram, I think, are first cousins. Pat Bertram was the name of Mr. Haney. He goes, Mr. Douglas, I've got it in my truck, everything you need. And then Mr. Gimbel would come over there and he'd go, Mr. Gimbel, what can we do about the seeds for the crop there? He'd go, well, if you're talking about seeds, well, seeds for what?
By the way, that was some of the classic. That was some of the classic secondary TV characters of all time. It really was. It was such an under the radar. I loved watching Green Acres. It was a hoot.
Oh, Mr. Ziffel. How about Mr. Ziffel? Oh my God! Could you imagine Mr. Ziffel? Can you StreamYard in tomorrow morning at 8:00 with us? What?
And Mr. Drucker was the carryover to Petticoat Junction.
Petticoat Junction. Yeah.
From the spinoff.
And I tell you what. And we watched. We lost internet for about 24 hours, so we were restricted to MeTV. We watched the Beverly Hillbillies. Nothing's better than that time Mr. Drysdale saying, well, Mr. Clampett, this chandelier was owned by Louis the 14th and Catherine the Great, and by Marie Antoinette. He gets over 250 years old. He goes, Mr. Drysdale, we just plain old simple country folks. We don't mind something being secondhand. We'll be right back. Hang in there.
Hell, doggy.
It's Ainsley from Hewlett & Dunn, just coming to let you know about our new collection of boots. It's going to be our dress boots. They're the horsepower collection, and they're genuine exotic leathers and really comfortable. Comes in all different sizes and patterns, so come check them out.
Hi, I'm Eleanor Maynard, a fourth-generation residential broker with Hobbs & Realtors. Inventory is still a record low in Memphis, and the demand for more supply is continuing to spread across the Mid-South. Rates are starting to stabilize, which means the number of buyers is picking up daily. If you are interested in taking advantage of today's market, please give me, Eleanor Maynard, your Sidelines Live residential specialist, a call today, and let's discuss your needs. 901-761-1622 or directly on my mobile, 901-219-1905. That's 219-1905.
Red River Ford and Toyota, located in Wynne, Arkansas. If you're in the market for a new or used car, truck, or SUV, call, go online, or drop by and see them. Located 45 minutes from Memphis, go off the 4-city exit on I-40 and go north about 15 minutes on Highway 1. Easy to work with and still believe in customer service. If you live out of town, they will deliver your vehicle to you. RedRiverFordToyota.com. Just see what they can do.
Strengthen your seed zone this spring with quality tillage equipment from House Industries. Located in Cherry Valley, Arkansas, House Industries specializes in manufacturing superior equipment that will minimize your downtime and keep you working in the field. To ensure the highest quality control, all design, fabrication, and testing takes place in a 99,000 square foot manufacturing facility located right here in the heart of the Delta. Locate your nearest House equipment dealer online at houseindustriesinc.com.
House Industries, breaking ground.
Sidelines with Rob Browne. Talk sporty to me.
Frank Rob's off, but you'll love this. John Kennedy was there. He is, Rob. John Kennedy was a student at Vanderbilt. He was a year ahead of me.
Frank
and
Duffy, Bo Carter. Man, what a symphony of string music here on this Saturday Roundtable. And gentlemen, I wish. Could you imagine trying to have a Zoom call or an edition of Sidelines with Pat Bertram in one corner, Mr. Ziffel, Mr. Gimble, Hank Gimble, and Zsa Zsa Gabor. I mean, I thought it was bad the other day when Audrey was looking at the thing. She goes, "What happened to Gorgonzola or whatever?" I said, "You mean Gonzaga?" Gentlemen, my wife called Gonzaga Gorgonzola. How can you not get that
Bo and
right?
Bo and I were texting offline about Senator Kennedy.
It's hard to believe.
Let him know he's a
technical
Vanderbilt
difficulties. We need
grad.
to have that organ music being played. Can y'all, gentlemen, jump back in here when you can? We've got our IT man, Mr. Crispus, working on it right now. So jump back in here, gentlemen, when you're with.
Well, I was just saying, Bo and I were texting back and forth, and we were talking about Senator Kennedy and how he's a Vanderbilt grad, right? I mean, he's a brilliant guy, and so all the Democrats underestimate him because they think he's a hillbilly. Yeah, and so he's brilliant, right? I saw some commentary that he just had just the other day at the well of the Senate, and I was like, he's like skewering them, and it was awesome. So I love him. I don't vote in Louisiana anymore because I just have an apartment there. My residence is Georgia, and unlike the Democrats in Chicago, I don't vote 3 times or 5 times. I only vote once. But he's fabulous. I mean, he's great for Louisiana. He's just a shucks good old boy, and I tell you what, he runs rings around him. Brilliant.
When we were at Vandy, Frank, he was, I'm John Kennedy he was a student body president his junior year. Then all of a sudden he became Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah.
I see.
The man of the people.
How we doing that?
That's awesome. Hey, man, whatever works, man. Sun Tzu said, if you can be deceptive, be deceptive. Absolutely.
Yeah,
love it.
I love the style of a lot of these Southern politicians. Just like they'll lead you in with smiles and giggles and grins, and all of a sudden, bam, knockout punch. You don't know what's
I'm happy he's on our side. That's all I know.
yeah, and I would not want to. Someone like that is really tough to go against, I'm sure, in courtown if they're an attorney or whatnot.
Could you imagine going up against him and Wynn Parish up in North Louisiana, and you have to go up against that? Oh my gosh, you'd be in deep trouble.
Yeah, that would be quite a day. Hey, both of y'all, and I'm gonna start back with you both. The baseball. Frank talked about it. He alluded to this fact earlier. And you look at the great dichotomy between the men's Final Four and the women's Final Four. We've got the women's ticket, getting a higher asking price than the men's. I don't think anybody would have ever thought that would be possible. Okay, so there you go. But you know what that is, Bo? Isn't it fair to say it's the free market?
Yeah,
and you've got to let the free market work. Hey, if you got businesses or whatever kind of businesses out there, and you got bad actors and stupid board of directors that don't know what they're doing, and they drive it into the ground, you know what you do? You let them fail. And the free market, men's sports, women's sports, people are going to watch what they want, not what they're told to watch. Bo, is that a fair take?
Yes, and one thing, like I said, too, part of it's the venue. The American Airlines Center seats 19,000, and NRG Stadium's like 56 or whatever. So I'd love to see the NCAA go back to playing maybe like in the Center in Louisville or something. Remember they played. You guys, Frank's aware of this thing. They played the most Final Fours have been played at historic Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City, which seats like 10. They played 8 there. It was a central location or whatever, but. They got greedy in the 80s and 90s, Rob, and said, hey, let's play it in the 60s. In fact, they played at the old Reunion Arena in Dallas, which is now
86
going down. Yeah, LSU was in it, Frank. I think John Brady was an assistant coach at Mississippi State.
Right, and I was having shots with Brian Bosworth at 2:30 in the morning at some bar down in Dallas. I can't remember it. All I know is I made it to the Reunion Arena for the LSU Louisville game we were up by 10 points against Purvis Ellison at halftime, and we thought we were going to our first championship game. And I'm telling you what, the wheels popped off the wagon. But in an hour and a half, we were eating wings at like some wing place, drowning our sorrows.
Well, you think about, for both of y'all, the Kim Mulkey, second year at LSU. Bo, you watched her for years out there at Baylor, and she used to wear. Dave Cody was telling us yesterday, Kim Mulkey used to wear this or one of the other coaches that was there wore that long coat because the arena they played in was so cold. And I like to see good sports. If it's the men's, it's the women's, I'm going to watch it. But I'm not going to be told to watch it or shamed into watching it.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to tell y'all something. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Disney coming into the SEC.
Well, I know one thing, Rob. If she beats Iowa tomorrow, I'm buying Brian Kelly a pink boa and sending it to him.
I mean, that's what they were showing that picture of. Dave, somebody sent that picture to me of Kim Mulkey wearing. I mean, she's got quite a collection of outfits.
God love her. Hey, look, when you can win, it doesn't matter how you talk. You can talk as fake Southern as you want. You beat Alabama on the first week of November, son. You can talk like Mr. Haney. That's perfectly fine. You get LSU in a national championship game like Kim Mulkey, you can look like you just rolled out of a Storyville hotel in 1912. That's fine. We're okay with all that.
Hey, look here. I've got a question. I'm going to start. We got a lot of listener questions today. This is a question from Hugh Beaumont. Hugh Beaumont.
Oh, the Beavs boy.
Cleaver.
Mr. Cleaver.
Hugh Beaumont in Thomasville, Alabama. Hugh Beaumont, his question is, and he sent me an artist rendering. He goes, why can't they have the big blue monster at Auburn's baseball stadium at Plainsman Park with bold, big letters, War Damn Eagle? Is there some rule against it? Because I'm for it, says Hugh Beaumont from Thomasville, Alabama. And Bo and Frank, you know what part of Alabama that's in? Lower Alabama.
Well, if they put it in, it can't be in left field because that's where we get to see the pitchers warming up. I love sitting down that third base line in Plainsman Park because you get to see who's coming up and see who's pitching. So we'll have to reverse it, Hugh. But I'm cool with putting a big blue monster up there on right field. That'd be a cool thing.
What about in left field though? Like they've got that green monster, Bo. Is there some rule against that?
No, Vanderbilt's got one. Carl Yastrzemski's grandson played for Vandy in like the early 2000s. Now with the Giants actually.
Yeah.
And they I think the Yastrzemski family built the green. The Vanderbilt. It was the old football practice field. It's really gone north as things have gone on. Charlie Hawkins, a great football player in the 50s, baseball gave them several $1 million. But it used to butt up right to Memorial Gymnasium and the swimming pool over there, Rob. They had to put bulletproof windows in there because the left field line was about 300 feet, and they'd rattle those rattle home runs off those windows all the time.
That's awesome.
Well, we got another question. This question's for Frank from Kent Osmond.
Yeah, Eddie Haskell.
Yeah, I'm right. Rest in peace, Eddie. He's gone to see Mrs. Cleaver in the sky.
Yeah. Checking out that dress.
Ken Osmond has a good question here. He says, LSU baseball, is everything in the state of Louisiana, judging by when I watch a game at Alex Spock Stadium, sponsored by Tony Sachery's IE?
That's right. That's exactly right. And by the way, it was cool. They came out of a close-up on the Tony Sachery's logo, like Mr. Tony needs any more advertising. When they came out, it's just like the fourth or fifth inning. And I actually know his grandson, Ron Sachery, was actually in my pledge class at LSU as Kappa Sig.
All right, another question here. This is a good question here. A blast from the past. See if either one of y'all, whoever can answer it, hit the button first. All right. Howard Cosell on Monday Night Football used to, late in a game, they would pan the sidelines with the camera. Thank you, Rune Arledge, executive producer of ABC Sports, that said, why don't we take cameras down on field level and get the action and a shot or two of the cheerleaders during a game? Hey, what a brilliant idea. But this question is from one of our listeners, Ken Osmond, and he says, Howard Cosell would pan the camera, this is cool, late in a game to the steaming bald head of this Hall of Fame NFL player for which team and what was his name?
Sistrunk for Oakland.
Yep. And what did he call the University of Mars? Is what he called his head. Remember that?
No, yeah. From the University of Mars. Yeah.
Well, you know what? You think about this. When the pandemic was first unleashed on us, Peyton Manning had that brilliant series. Was it called Peyton's Places or something?
Yeah.
He's kind of he keeps a poker face. They're funny. Peyton Manning went out and did all these things with Al Michaels. He put on the golden NFL Monday Night Football blazer, put on a head rug, a toupee, and a cigar. And oh my God, could you think about when we were coming up watching Monday Night Football?
Oh, it's huge.
Howard Cosell, Frank Gifford, and Don Merritt.
Andy Don.
Yeah.
Yes, you know what? And now we think we got to have these guys that go to broadcasting school and learn how to talk with this accent, like, hello again, everyone, and welcome to Tiger Stadium. I want some guy that actually sounds like he's been there. And if he's had a drink or two, Harry Carey comes to mind.
Go down the rabbit hole on YouTube.
Yeah.
There is a funny one of Dandy Don and Howard Cosell in a two-shot.
Yeah.
And they're droning on about something. The game's like meaningless. Howard is as drunk as nine baseball players at a fish fry in the summer, dude. He was waxed. And he's slurring his words. And I know you could see on Dandy Don's face what the thought was, this is usually me. And now I'm having to do what you do, because Dandy Don was hammered on more than one occasion.
Yes.
No doubt, right? But Howard must have gone at the 21 club before. I think it was a New York game. It was a Jets or a Giants game, and had gotten plowed. And so Danny Don's looking at him like, wait a minute. Normally the roles are reversed here, and Howard is slurring every other word. And he's trying to be, pretentious, and like the words, like he's doing 5-syllable words that are stopping on the third syllable. He's that hammered. It was
you know what though? That thing, and Bo and Frank, this, and everybody listening, that's what made it fun. These guys, we have got. I mean, again,
you know what you're going to get.
Yeah, and I go down those YouTube rabbit holes every day to look at stuff new, old, and in between. But you think about how much fun the announcers had. Like Friday night TV, watching with my grandmother. We used to watch the Dean Martin roast. I'll never forget when Don Rickles was being roasted, and Foster Brooks comes up there, and of course Don Rickles is right there to his left, and he goes, "I want to say, Mr. Pickles, I've enjoyed getting to know your wife. Every time you're out of town, I go to see her, and incidentally, you need to get some more
scotch." and Rickles lost it, right? He lost it.
And Mr. Pickles, Mr. Rickles, I forgot what I'm up here for. It's roast you.
Hey, let me tell you. Monday Night Football, though, Rob, here was the cool thing. For those of us that cheered for shitty teams like the Saints, you prayed on Sunday that your team played well enough for Howard Cosell to mention them, just to mention. Yes. Number two, if you got into the 3-minute highlight package, it made your week. That was incredible. Yeah. And look, the Saints never made it on Monday night. It was not until 1974 when we played. I think it was the Chiefs. Was the first time that the Saints were on Monday night. That was 7 years of existence, 4 seasons of Monday Night Football, and we finally were able to make it on. It wasn't because of us; it was how good the Chiefs were. But let me tell you, man, that was must-see TV. You waited on every word of the shenanigans that Howard and Dandy Don was going to do. And let me tell you, this was about the time when I started my first foray into gambling. I remember betting my buddies in 7th and 8th grade on the Michigan Ohio State game. But it was the first time that I realized that I knew when it was time to go to sleep, when your bet had lost, when Dandy Don started singing, "Turn out the lights, the party's over."
Yep.
I started counting my pennies in my piggy bank because I knew I had to pay somebody on Tuesday morning.
Well, and you know what though? That's what's so much fun about Monday Night Football and all of those characters that we grew up with, is they made the games exciting.
Yeah. And that's why no matter who they put in the booth, it will never match up that. Even when Michaels and Madden, were and you had even the next iteration of when you had Alex Karras, which was pretty watchable, but it has gone downhill so bad. When you got to bring Dennis Miller and Tony Kornheiser, and it was never the same after that. In the old parlance of dog racing, they caught the rabbit.
Yeah, we're going to take a break. We're going to come right back because I just got something in from from somebody, a friend of ours, Dave Cody, that interviewed Howard Cosell. This is a classic story. Hang on, folks.
Awesome.
We're experiencing technical difficulties. Little organ music from the Church of Christ in the background here, Dave Baker. We'll be right back with more on Sidelines. Unbelievable.
Hey y'all, it's Ainsley from Hewlett & Dunn, just coming to let you know about our new collection of boots. It's going to be our dress boots. They're the horsepower collection. And they're genuine exotic leathers and really comfortable. Comes in all different sizes and patterns, so come check them out.
Hi, I'm Eleanor Maynard, a fourth-generation residential broker with Hobbs & Realtors. Inventory is still a record low in Memphis, and the demand for more supply is continuing to spread across the Mid-South. Rates are starting to stabilize, which means the number of buyers is picking up daily. If you are interested in taking advantage of today's market, please give me, Eleanor Maynard, your Sidelines Live residential specialist, a call today, and let's discuss your needs. 901-761-1622 or directly on my mobile, 901-219-1905. That's 219-1905.
Red River Ford and Toyota, located in Wynne, Arkansas. If you're in the market for a new or used car, truck, or SUV, call, go online, or drop by and see them. Located 45 minutes from Memphis, go off the 4-city exit on I-40 and go north about 15 minutes on Highway 1. Easy to work with and still believe in customer service. If you live out of town, they will deliver your vehicle to you. RedRiverFordToyota.com. Just see what they can do.
Strengthen your seed zone this spring with quality tillage equipment from House Industries. Located in Cherry Valley, Arkansas, House Industries specializes in manufacturing superior equipment that will minimize your downtime and keep you working in the field. To ensure the highest quality control, all design, fabrication, and testing takes place in a 99,000 square foot manufacturing facility located right here in the heart of the Delta. Locate your nearest House equipment dealer online at houseindustriesinc.com.
House Industries, breaking ground.
Sidelines with Rob Browne. Talk sporty to me.
All right, Doug Dean just reported in to us. He is in the woods. It is opening weekend of turkey season in the great state of Alabama, and nothing like that sound of the hen.
Tell him I've got my cranberry sauce ready. All he's got to do is let us know when he bags one.
Let me tell you what, they ain't waiting until Thanksgiving to eat a wild turkey, man. Not only is that some damn good whiskey, but it is a wild turkey, fried wild turkey.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it is so good. Interesting story here, guys. From what we're finding out, we're having some technical difficulties. Appreciate everybody's patience today. my social media director, my internet genius, and my wife, Audrey, she has said that there's so much stress for what happened in Wynn, which is very close to parking, that there's kind of almost having a meltdown on a lot of the systems in this area. So we will work through it. We'll work through it. And like I said, we're going over there. MJ, Michael Jordan, and I right after the show to see what we can do to help those great people, because we got some of our best sponsors we've ever had in history, like Red River Ford Toyota and ECS House Industries. And those folks in Wynn, they're as good as it gets. You go over the ridge and they got the sign, "Welcome to Wynn, the city with a smile." And they are great people, less than 9,000 people, but it's like a city of 50,000.
Yeah.
Great story here, man. Howard Cosell. This is Dave Cody. Howard Cosell, second worst interview I ever did. I was in Memphis. He was there to do a piece on Eddie Stanky at South Alabama.
Yeah.
Art Schleister, remember him at Ohio State?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the gambler.
Gambling quarterback.
You got to know when to fold them, know when to hold them. Third and long. Here goes Schleister. Oh, money in the bank. But anyway, I digress. So Art Schleister had just been put in jail for gambling. So I asked him about that. Worst was Grant Taft, 2 days after I reported he wanted to fire the AD. Wow, I mean, he did after the game. That was the worst one. Okay. Howard jumped right into character and became difficult. Is that hard to believe? Like Al Michaels was talking about him one time. He said, we were in Louisville for the Kentucky Derby, and Jim McKay was there, of course, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. And so they're there, and Howard Cosell sitting in the lobby, and guys, everybody's coming up to him wanting an autograph or a picture, and Howard Cosell looks over and says, "I can't get any privacy. Everyone wants to see me." And,
he's a miserable human being.
Yeah. So Jim McKay looked at him and said, "Well, Howard, you can go upstairs to your hotel and lock the door." And he goes, "Oh yeah, I never thought about that." And he goes, "Really?"
Yeah.
But he had to have, I'll tell you, in the Mount Rushmore of head rugs, of bad head rugs, Howard Cosell is on there. But I'll tell you another one. I was on an elevator one time at a fall formal when I was in student at Auburn. I think it was at the Omni downtown Atlanta. And I got on the elevator, folks, with
Larry Munson.
No, Hank Stram.
Hank Stram. Oh my God.
Whoa,
that was an iconic toupee.
Oh, that was a rug of rugs.
They shot that raccoon 4 times to get it up on that head.
I told my dad, and he goes, "Oh, that's Mount Rushmore." Yeah.
That was. Hey boys, let's go. Let's matriculate down the field, boys. Hey boys. By the way, as the Saints coach, he gave us false hope, false promise. I would see him around town every now and again. He never really took to the community. I heard he was a genuinely nice man. He was not warm. He really wasn't that affectionate, from what I understand. And he actually wound up staying on the North Shore in New Orleans after his coaching days.
Yeah. He did, didn't he? Because he did the games on CBS Radio.
Yeah.
Y'all remember? And I know we're going all over the place today. Doug Dean said he will try to call in the last segment if he can. He's trying to get 2 empty tomato cans and a long piece of string, and he's going to try to reach with it. By the way, if that works, I don't know. But you think about this, guys. We're kind of doing a little bit of perspective, the golden age of radio, but it's like architects that were trained in the traditional manner versus the ones who like to use CAD today. Is that really architecture? You ask my 94-year-old dad, not only no, hell no.
Did we lose you, Rob?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Now we can.
Yeah. So you think about the great broadcasters that we grew up listening to and the great sports writers, okay? And a lot of people on the show, I think it was y'all that said it, what made the coaches bigger than life back in the day was we didn't see them everywhere,
mythical.
There were spots. Could you imagine Coach Bryant, Elvis, with social media, what it would be like? I mean, Coach Bryant sometimes would go to a party and have a drink or two or three, and that's his business. I mean, people today are so quick. They're going to jump on you and they'll try to destroy you. But Buddy Martin is going to be on here with us in a few minutes, GatorbaitMedia.com. And you think about the great sports writers. And we're going to have fun in hour number 2. So, folks,
Rob, I would have loved to have had an Arlo camera on Pat Dye's front porch at the cabin.
Yeah, or at Stillwater's up there at the Lake Martin when they would have the big, those deals they would do. Both coaches, you'd have the coaches there for the weekend, would invite all the media people, and they'd be playing cards and having drinks. You got to know people, and hell yeah, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about this stuff because we don't have to take it, okay? Who was it? Twisted Sister, we're not going to take it. Hell, I mean, think about it. We're not going to take it anymore. Or was it Albert Brooks? It's Albert Brooks that said something about in the movie Broadcast when he said, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Albert Finney. Yeah.
Whatever. Albert Einstein.
One of the Albert Einstein.
Yeah. But you got a name like Albert, you got to be smart.
Albert Brooks was the one that was sweating like he stole something on broadcast news. Still one of the funniest movie scenes I've ever seen when he got behind the camera and started schwitzing. And the sweat was
Yeah. Well, you know what? And the thing about sports that we love, and we cover a lot, we got the Masters about to crank up next weekend, okay? And we're looking to get our friend Lauren Smith on, who will be attending his 64th consecutive Masters in Augusta. And you've heard him, Frank, talk, and Bo. He goes, I was just a 19-year-old little old country boy from Wrightsville going over there to the Masters, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't grow up on a golf course, but 64 straight coming up.
But I kind of took a shine to those pimento sandwiches.
Yes, that's for $1. And Lauren Smith is
back then everybody 10 cents.
Hey, Lauren Smith is the Robin Leach of Southeastern football and golf. He's like, what are you doing today? He goes, well, I'm going to have lunch with Vern Lundquist today on the veranda and have sex. But Lauren, you know him, Bo. I mean, I tell him, I hope to God he never retires. I hope he lives to be 100. You know what? It's not. Again, I love it when people say, "Well, you just sound like two old guys, yelling at the cloud." No, it's you love what is great. Okay, find something. Here's the deal. Keep the sports writers. Bo, Frank, on Fridays we have William Halliday, a.k.a. Billy Ray Valentine, the intern from the Auburn Plainsman.
Capricorn.
Memphis. Yeah, Capricorn, Libra. And we're talking about journalism. And I'm telling you, Bo, you read his stuff. He's showing the signs of William Halliday being a damn good writer. Bo, take it here now. I want you to tell us why, as a society, a lot of people have begun to accept crappy journalism and think it's okay. It's just the way it is. You know what? If you weigh 350 pounds and you say that's just the way it is, you ain't going to be around long. So you better change and say that's not the way it's going to be.
That's true. And we've talked about it many times about the bane of journalism, social media right now. People they'll put anything down, no sourcing. Hey, I heard on the street that Rob Browne's going to go to Alabama and get a law degree and disgrace his family or whatever. It's just open. And the worst thing, people can't refute it. I mean, it's out there. It's it's just like it's out there for the millions. And the crazier it is, the more insane it is, the more people buy into it, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you know what? And Frank, I got to tell you something. Dave Cody just sent his brother Bill Cody.
Oh,
my brother was original New Orleans Saint.
Damn right.
And blocked for Tom Dempsey on the 63-yard field goal to beat the Lions at Tulane Stadium. He's still alive at age 80. But I'm going to tell you something, man. He said Tom Dempsey passed away during the COVID height of the pandemic. But he kicked. Didn't he have a club foot?
Yeah, had half a foot.
Half a foot.
Birds
Well, we
effect,
had a
half
guy.
foot.
Yeah, we had a guy like that, a great punter, Lewis Colbert at Auburn. Boom it, Lewis. Boom it. Boom it, Lewis. Boom it.
They said the sound when the ball came off of his foot against the Lions. They said Alex Karras, the look on Alex Karras's face on the line when that ball got struck, because they were all laughing. The Lions were all yucking it up when the Saints lined up. And a little trivia, Scarpati was the holder. And they said they looked at the Lions and they were all in disbelief. They got down in like a 3-point stance just for giggles. And Bill Cody will probably tell you this. When Dempsey's foot hit that ball, the sound of it, they all looked at the faces on the Detroit Lions defensive line, and they all knew they were in trouble from the sound that ball hit. And that son of a bitch cleared. That ball cleared by about 2 or 3 feet.
Well, that's incredible. You think about the Saints and the Lions fan, long suffering. Hey, Bo and Frank, you remember this? Pat Dye had Joe DiMaggio there one weekend at Stillwater's for the media weekend. Free golf and tennis and food and drink. Dye and Perkins tried to one-up each other. Bama Media Weekend was at the Yacht Club, the Northport Yacht Club, I'm sure. Anyway, same free golf, tennis, and food and drink, a lot of swag. But also, Dempsey kicked a 70-yarder in practice, so they knew he had the distance. It had to be the final play to avoid giving up field possession from the 37-yard line.
Crazy.
Holy cow.
Because the goal line back then, the goalpost was on the goal line back then. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, man. Here's a question, and this one is for Bo from Yitzhak Perlman. Yitzhak Perlman. I love these names. Famous violinist, isn't he? He and Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob. Who needs Yitzhak Perlman? I'll play the world's smallest violin. But question from Yitzhak Perlman. Bo Carter, you've been in the media for a long, long time. Tell me this. Who are your Mount Rushmore for the greatest 4 sports writers ever? And we can't include Buddy Martin or Furman Bishop.
I'll put Buddy right there with Granlund Rice, who's passed away in 1954. Right now, he's not as old as Granlund was, but no, Buddy. I honestly too always loved Bill Lumpkin at the Birmingham Post. Really, I mean, very always truthful. Never played favorites. He covered Alabama and Auburn equally, Rob, as you know, and his son has been in the Dallas area and lived. Has been a PR guy in several places, whatever. But Granlund Rice, Buddy Martin, Bill Lumpkin, and probably either a tie for fourth between Blackie Sherrod of the Dallas Morning. Scatter shooting while wondering what happened to Frank Duffy. That was his line. Or Rob Browne, and then and of course. Furman Bisher, definitely one of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. I tell you what.
Yeah,
Furman was great, and I loved at this time of the year when Furman Bishop would he waxed so poetic because you had such a convergence of incredible sports this time because you have the Masters Week, you have the start of baseball. You have the Final Four. Many times this was the end of Final Four, lap over this week. And then you had the Derby looming on the horizon. And normally a really good boxing match back when we actually had boxing and heavyweight at this time. And it was a sports writer's dream. Oh, and Buddy's on. Buddy will tell you what a glorious time this was for sports writers because it was the sexy sports of yesteryear that you could talk about all in one week.
Yeah, Buddy, jump in here because you talked about those fun road trips from the Final Four to the Masters. I love it.
Well, for the days that was going on, man, that was great. It was the greatest double in sports.
Yeah,
to go and be covering the Final Four on a Monday night, catch a plane to Augusta on Tuesday, and that you get to cover those two events. And And then later on, the first Saturday, in April is the Masters. The first Saturday in May is the Derby. I was fortunate to cover the Triple Crown a number of years. It was great. It was a wonderful time. Furman Bishop, one of the greats, without question, Frank. And for the days of yore, but we can't live in yore. We got to live in now, and it's just different. And we're all having a difficult time adjusting to it. But yeah, I mean, there was a certain romanticism about that. I'm even thinking now, talking about age of it, doing a book on it. I don't know whether anybody cares. I don't know anymore who cares about what. But that was certainly a wonderful era, and so many great sports writers who are gone on to the next, as they say, press box in the sky. And I was just blessed to be a part of it.
Well, I love the fact, buddy, you're a perfectionist. We have our intern on, William Halliday, on Fridays, and Bo, the great Oracle journalism professor, Frank, when you read great writing like you write, in the timing of a great story is like a home run with a grand slam with bases loaded to win a big game. And it's amazing how you can do that.
Well, I thank you for that. But I mean, look, I don't even know. Like, I'm sitting here thinking I'm doing a story next week that probably nobody cares about, right? I spent 33 or 34 years going to Augusta, and I love it. It's my favorite event. I won't bore you with the details. But one thing I think is important, the chapters along the way, we'll talk about it later, but there was a Quonset hut. I mean, a literal Quonset hut with a round.
Buddy, hold that thought, because we're going to go to a break. You're at the Quonset hut. We're going to come right back. Igor Stravinsky, Frank Duffy, Bo Carter, Buddy Martin, right after this.
Red River Ford and Toyota, located in Wynne, Arkansas. If you're in the market for a new or used car, truck, or SUV, call, go online, or drop by and see them. Located 45 minutes from Memphis, go off the 4-city exit on I-40 and go north about 15 minutes on Highway 1. Easy to work with and still believe in customer service. If you live out of town, they will deliver your vehicle to you. RedRiverFordToyota.com. Just see what they can do.
Strengthen your seed zone this spring with quality tillage equipment from House Industries. Located in Cherry Valley, Arkansas, House Industries specializes in manufacturing superior equipment that will minimize your downtime and keep you working in the field. To ensure the highest quality control, all design, fabrication, and testing takes place in a 99,000 square foot manufacturing facility located right here in the heart of the Delta. Locate your nearest House equipment dealer online at houseindustriesinc.com.
House Industries, breaking ground.
Sidelines with Rob Browne. Talk sporty to me.
All right, Buddy Martin, you were at the Quonset hut. This was before the break, so let's get back to the hut.
Well, I don't want to bore people, but this is one little story that you think about the things you've been a part of. At the Quonset hut, it was literally an old Quonset hut with a rounded roof. All right, there was the people who sat downstairs and the people who sat in the Quonset hut. The Quonset hut probably seated about 60 people. It was sort of the second-class citizenship. I've sat in both. I sat downstairs.
Pool in a pond.
Yeah. And so, but among the people who were up there were some of the greats in sports writing. And I mean, the great Dan Jenkins would only come once a tournament on Sunday afternoon, sit down and rapid fire type out his story, send it to the Sports Illustrated. He was gone. The rest of the time he spent in the clubhouse at the upstairs restaurant there and whatever. But the point is that we decided to make it a badge of courage. So we, along with my friend John Fenner and others, we formed a group called the Masters Attic Rats. Okay, the Attic Rats. We were up in the attic.
Rat. I love it.
Right? So there's a whole chapter about that of the Attic Rats. We make T-shirts, call ourselves the Attic Rats, and we would we would write a daily paper and put it out, and we would have sometimes occasionally a golfer would come upstairs to see us. What's up there? What are you guys doing? And the greatest moment for us was the year that flooded downstairs, and all those blue bloods had to scramble for places, and we were nice and dry up there,
That is freaking awesome.
And we had the pimento cheese sandwiches thrown up to us and all that sort of stuff. So it was just a culture. I mean, there was Bill Lyon from the Philadelphia Inquirer. He sat toward the end of one row, which curved down. He typed like this because he couldn't straighten his neck up. You know, there were so many great stories there. And Woody Page and I sat there and talked. It was just a wonderful time. And I'm going to try to recollect, if anybody cares. I don't know if they do or not.
Buddy, they do.
Yeah.
But here's the final note on it. In Augusta, now and then, or the Taj Mahal now, there were always pictures of the presidents of the golf players. Right around the back in the day. And there was always these, so boy, if I could ever be president of the golf players, get my picture up there. It was like the Hall of Fame of people. So we decided we'd have our own. We took a picture of the attic ranch down by the stairs at the big guard tiny in the media place. And so we had our own with our t-shirts on. Had it framed, and they put that picture up for a while there with the golf presidents.
That's
part
funny.
of history. Now it's gone now, but it was there 5 or 6 years, the attic ranch. So long live the attic ranch.
Buddy, let me just say something. Buddy, don't ever apologize. I mean, that's what we want. We want the real deal
stories.
And we cannot thank you enough, because what makes people love the Masters, even people that aren't golfers, the guy that goes to putt and hits a few hundred balls with his kids. I mean, if you've ever hit a golf club, or you love spring and you love hope, you love the Masters. It's a college football game. It's golf. It's everything we love all in one. And who better? If I'm going to hire somebody to paint frescoes, I'm hiring Michelangelo. If I'm going to hire somebody to tell a story, I'm hiring Buddy Martin or Bo Carter, because that's what nobody can tell them like you can, and that richness.
But think of this, Rob. Rob, think of this. This is what I want to. This is the importance of writers at Augusta. Think of this. It is a throwback sporting event. I have access to so many sporting events at my pleasure. Is if I've got money, I can get into them. That is really not the case at the Masters, right? It is still a very secluded sort of event.
Toughest ticket in sports. Toughest ticket in sports, without doubt.
Yes. To have these gentlemen, and I use that word succinctly, these gentlemen on site there the whole week. That's why I'm shocked that Jansen would come in for just one 9 and then leave is incredible. But to be there that whole week to tell the story. Yes, it's now in digital format, and I've got my Masters app. That's how I consume it. But that's an old throwback to the days before you had access to sporting events and StubHub. I mean, I guess I could spend $10,000 to go out there for a badge for a day. I'm not gonna. But this is our way to learn about the Masters, is these writers, is the guys that are immersed, that are banging out these 1,500, 2,000 word stories every day coming through on the Masters app. It's a throwback.
Yeah, and Buddy, and to appreciate what you're doing, to tell you why it's so important, I've been to the Vatican in Rome, and I mean, it doesn't matter.
I didn't cover that.
No, but I'm saying, even if you're not Catholic, just if you're, every religious denomination goes there to see it. That's the power of the written word that you do. So we love these, we treasure these. So feel free
I'm
to
going to write the book. I'm going to do the book, and I'm going to expect you guys to buy a copy.
That's right.
Yeah, come on, let's do it.
We'll have a book
It's funny you should use that analogy. It's funny you should use that analogy, Rob. Southern Cathedral.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, Buddy,
it's the Southern Cathedral.
Yeah. It is, and Buddy, you get to see people like Lauren Smith there, or Vern Lundquist, and these people. They may retire from doing everything, but nobody wants to retire.
Vern does call it 16th. Yeah, you're right. But no, it's a play. I don't get to go anymore. I haven't gone in 8 or 9 years, but I think 32 was enough of it. But I love it, and I love it this week. And it's going to be fun to watch it. Listen, right now in golf, there's a swing back to the good old days and the traditions I love. And if nothing else, the LIV has forced the PGA Tour to do some things, and now these young players value this because they realize they're the ones driving this bus. Guys like Gordon Spieth and JT, those guys, they all care. They're showing up for these events. And the Masters, if you watch the Bay Hill event this year, Arnold Palmer was never more important than this year because of the tradition that he brought to the game. I don't want to sound like an old fart and trying to live in yesterday. Nicholas on up today, but they built this. And now the young people are beginning to realize this is something of value.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know what, Bo and Frank and Buddy, this is a great comment, commentary that tradition matters. History, traditions, heroes, because without it, nobody knows what the measuring stick is, Buddy and Bo, and as great writers. And when Lawrence Smith is on here talking about walking the Masters since he was 19 years old, he's going to his 64th straight Masters.
Great, yeah.
I mean, why does Jack Nicklaus still get up in the morning and go play golf? He has all the money he could ever spend because he has an idea of who he is and what he is, and he represents a lot to a lot of people. But you can't get enough of it. Kentucky Derby, all these great Final Four, all this stuff coming that's happening about sports. When people say, well, there's nothing we can do about it, NIL, and all that stuff. Yeah, there is. You know what there is? It's called the free market. And we have a populist movement that loves tradition, history, and heroes. It's called Sidelines.live, 6 days a week, 50 hours plus a month. And one of these days, Bo Carter is going to be the grand marshal of a new Shriners parade in Kankakee, Illinois. But I'm just saying, you gotta love.
Days, this thing's gonna be on ESPN. Is what's going to happen one of the days. And why in the hell it hadn't happened yet is beyond me. But one of these networks is going to pick up this show. You watch.
Well, we hope so, and we ain't going to change anything. Never forget who helps you get there. Doug Dean is with us right now, live from Hale County, Alabama. It is opening day of turkey season, and man, this is just a symphonic quartet of minds of football. Doug, I hear it. Did you get one?
No, my dear friend Mark Thomas, a wildlife biologist, took a nice bird this morning. It was raining. By the way, glad you're still standing there, Rob. Prayers for all the people.
Yeah.
But a pretty morning nonetheless.
Well, we have been having a lot of fun with Buddy and Bo and Frank and me talking about the Masters and all that's going on this time of year. This just convergence of all these great sports. And Buddy just said there's a lot of the younger golfers now because of LIV. It's forced the PGA to go back to square one. Buddy, that's a great story right there. That's a story that more people need to be talking about. But Doug, even if you don't play golf, you're going to watch the Masters. I don't know what it is, but it's that special.
It's magical, and the place, you can say they're a little snobby over there, but that's probably part of the folklore, and they're but I still tip my hat that it may have a particular rule that they enforce with a vengeance, but you can still get an egg sandwich for about 50 cents. And
pimento cheese.
Gotta tip your hat to that.
And let me tell you, you get a pimento and you get an egg salad and you stick them together. Oh, son. Woo! That's good.
Hey, Rob, listen.
Yeah.
Rob, I have been off the grid for a couple of weeks, and I plan this evening's entertainment. What time does Alabama play in the Final Four tonight? I've been away from
I don't know. Let me see if the neighbors have the blinds pulled up.
Shame on you.
Oh, wait. Are you saying they didn't advance?
Shocking.
I've been gone a couple of weeks.
No.
Hey, buddy.
I'm going to catch hell for that, and I'm prepared for the end.
Hey, buddy, this is a great one from a listener. You lived out west in Denver, and he says, ask Buddy if it's true. And this is from one of our listeners, Clarence Beeks from Chicago. He said, is it true that out west, when you make a lot of money, you don't wear a tie anymore?
I don't think you wear a tie, but you don't make a lot of money for that matter. But no, it's true. And I want to say hello to Doug, and I want to bring Bo back in here too, because Bo's seen a lot of things as well going on with the great writers we talked about. But if I could just answer Doug, it's a tough year because two teams are knocked out of the Final Four by that great bastion of college basketball, South Florida.
State of Florida.
Are you kidding me? South Florida. If I said to you what two teams from Florida will be in the Final Four, and asked you to you pick them 13th and 14th. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you're there. Miami's got to give them credit, although I don't like to. But yeah. So Final Four, and just think about this for a second, guys. If this was football, think about it. And you have this Final Four. What about if you had like this for Final Four? All right, Miami, Washington State, Purdue, and University of Central Florida, UCLA. How would that be for a Final Four in football? That's what we got.
And by the way, I'm going to the window. I'm going to the window to cash my ticket. I had a daily double. Doug Dean brings up Alabama, and Buddy brings up Miami. That's my daily double ticket. I bought a cash.
Well, let me kind of recover here. Alabama's got no one to apologize to. It looks to me like they built the foundation of a program that's going to be around and make noise for quite a while.
No one else to blame, too.
Yeah. But to Buddy's point, it is. Look at on chalk. We hit into the Sweet 16. It looks like Alabama's that you would hope for. You know, a couple of high seeds knocked out, and that's the dangerous thing about college basketball now. When a one-game elimination, these teams are all good in betting a game, or you can what can happen. Not Alabama. Shoot, look at Purdue's the one that should be hanging their head.
Yeah, and you know, Buddy, your friend Franz Beard, who's on our show with us every week, calls Purdue Perdon't.
Yeah, he's got a few nicknames for sure. Yeah, I mean, look, listen, right now, I saw one of the great basketball games last night when I saw Iowa and South Carolina. Wow. I mean, I was transfixed by that game. And that Iowa team shockingly upset South Carolina. But, I mean, those numbers on TV they're drawing now are amazing. We thought we'd have an all-SEC final. We didn't know South Carolina wouldn't make it. But, I mean, I'm loving this. And I'm not a big fan. I'm a fan of women's basketball. But I'm telling you, they say those games are outdrawing NBA games. There's no surprise on TV. So, you know, it's good ball being played, and more power to them. All the best to Kim Mulkey, and she's got to face a powerhouse in Iowa. They're really good.
Bo, he just said that the women's games are outdrawing this. Now, again, what do you think that the opinions, the talking heads that ESPN and a lot of the networks are doing right now? Are they in full-blown DEFCON panic mode?
They're excited about it. There's advertising dollars are going up, and there's a big push now. I know Mulkey and Don Staley and several of the coaches want the NCAA to negotiate a separate contract with women's basketball, like they do the $1 billion a year deal with men, which right now it's all tied in with women's championships or whatever. So I mean, they've got the power to do it right now. The way the game's moving. Buddy, by the way, I hope you listened. You were on the part. We compared you, our 4 favorite sports writers. You and Grantland Rice were 1 and 1A.
Yeah, Grantland and I used to hang out the other night. I didn't know him, but he was the name. He was the name. He came out of Nashville, by the way.
Yeah.
So you know, and of course, Fred Russell was his. Shall we say his. Whatever he was,
protege or whatever. Yeah.
Fred Russell, who the only guy I've ever known who was vice president of the paper and sports editor. How's that for a title? Yeah, he was a great, tremendous guy. No, Grantland Rice was something else. You couldn't write those leads today like the Four Horsemen. They throw it in the garbage can, But boy, it was great when he wrote it.
Hey, buddy, on the similar subject, I've meant to ask you, and you may have opined about this or told war stories, and I didn't catch it. But did you ever get to hang out in the days of the, what did they call it in the SEC, the Skyriders Tour. Where,
Hey, Doug, I was an original member of the Skywriters, okay?
Wow.
The first time that plane ever flew, I was on it, okay? I've written stories about it. I can tell you the tales about it. Most of them are exaggerated about the drinking, because if you drank, you couldn't survive. Sometimes you had to make 2 schools a day, and you write and grind. And my roommate we wrote was Neil Ender of the Herald, and he later became sports editor of the New York Times. But when he went to Ole Miss and wrote about what was going on there in the 60s, about his league was AIDS, apathy, and apartheid have taken over the program. It was, wow. So next year we came in there, we thought we'd be shot out of the sky.
Buddy, hold that thought. We're going to take a break. We're going to be right back. This unbelievable story time. Ain't no queens here, boys. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Eleanor Maynard, a 4th-generation residential broker with Hobbs & Realtors. Inventory is still a record low in Memphis, and the demand for more supply is continuing to spread across the Mid-South. Rates are starting to stabilize, which means the number of buyers is picking up daily. If you are interested in taking advantage of today's market, please give me, Eleanor Maynard, your Sidelines Live residential specialist, a call today, and let's discuss your needs. 901-761-1622 or directly on my mobile, 901-219-1905. That's 219-1905.
Unbelievable, quartet. No, a quintet we have here. That's right, quintet. We have 5 of us. This is an unbelievable roundtable. Doug Dean. Did you hear any owls this morning, Doug, when you were out there?
I got my cranberry sauce ready, Doug.
I got my pilgrim hat on.
We're delayed a little getting out with the rain that came through, but I got in the woods by about 7 a.m.
It's beautiful out there.
Hey, Rob, I got a real dilemma on my hands, okay?
Yeah.
I can't decide if I want to come back as Frank Duffy or Doug Dean. I'm just thinking about that, all right?
Hey, we hang out enough, man. You can hang out with both of us.
Hey, what we need to do, all go to the Masters together.
I can assure you, buddy, you want to be Duffy, not me. I promise you that.
I don't know. You got a pretty good life.
I'm not good at cleaning fish or fowl.
But, buddy, we if you need to survive and live off the land, then I'm your guy. But if you want to just have fun, But
hey, I'm in deep trouble if there's no electricity for the can opener.
Buddy, I'm not letting you
off that trying to survive right now. Okay, that's what we're trying to do.
Buddy, I'm not letting you off that easy about the Skyriders. True or false, embellished or not, and you have to tell the truth and shame the devil. Is it true? We won't name the name, but that one of the riders may have had a few to drink and ended up naked in a swimming pool.
That's true.
Greatly exaggerated. This is all greatly exaggerated. All right.
Y'all took an oath. Y'all took an oath with each other. I can tell.
I can tell you this much. This is true, and I'll tell you this. It actually did happen. We literally almost crashed at Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
We literally did. And the next day we came back. Next year we flew back in. The late Jack Hurston, my good friend who played the harmonica, got on the PA system, was about to land and played Nearer My God to Thee on the PA. I mean,
wow.
And we said, what happened there on the runway? They said, there's probably a cow on the runway at Auburn, you know.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, the thing is, the Skyriders tour, and Doug and Bo and Frank and Buddy, that is why these stories that people talk about. And y'all used to say you swore an oath to each other you would never tell the stories of things that happened on the Skyriders tour. But again, when you write them, I'm getting all this stuff from people about, Blackie Sherrod, scatter shooting one day a week. These great writers, they made you think. And when you see a lot of the stuff today, it's just throwing it up there as fast as they can without a lot of thought. Bo, if you were talking as you do to William Halliday and I want to start with you and then Buddy, to a young would-be journalist today, like Tony Barnhart said to us a couple of weeks ago, don't try to just put your personal opinions of what you want to happen. Present the facts and engage your readers like we do on the show. Engage your guests, correct?
Yes, Buddy can tell you, speak to this too. You've got your columns where you got your opinions or whatever, and then you've got your straight sports stories where you have to, you've got tragedy, you've got different things going on, and again, you got to play to your audience. You can't just sit there and throw the stuff against the wall and be a social media nutcase or whatever. And Buddy can speak to this too. It's really taking journalism back a step or two. So we got to rely on the Buddy Martins and my old friend, the late great John Bibb, too, a great
I worked with John Bibb for a year. I knew John pretty well. Yeah, great guy.
But you got to rely on the Buddy Martins, the people to be the storytellers and carry the torch.
Well, thank you. I think the thing is, I work with a couple of young guys I like a lot, young interns. They're just learning. You're right. They think they can come out of the chute writing opinion when they're supposed to be writing feature stories, and knowing how to craft a lead. We know what a lead is. I can literally say I remember writers, and I was one of them who sat at a football game. Of course, we had day games then, and spent 30 minutes at least on just the first 3 paragraphs of the story, trying to get the 4 horsemen lead, whatever. And nobody was better than Bisher at doing that kind of stuff. But that's the thing. Learn to write the lead, telling you what the story's about, entertaining you, and wanting to pull you in to read about this. That's the key. And it's changed a lot. As someone said the other day, I read a piece on the local TV anchors and stuff, and said Sports Illustrated used to be where you rush to the mailbox on Thursday to find out what Dan Jenkins said about last week's Masters. And now people aren't running down there to the mailbox to find out that Patrick Mahomes threw for 450 yards last week. Everything's now. So that changes a lot of things, but you still have to craft, and the young sports is better write a lead to get you started.
You got 1,000 pikas to hook them in.
Doug, when you write, you write multiple times a week. Does it just come to you, or, you're a planner, but what's your style? You've got a great product.
Well, you're kinder than my product deserves, but and I do it not to monetize it, which kind of in some ways keeps the pleasure, and if it never really feels like work to me, because I don't ever want to, at least not anytime soon. I really don't want to monetize it, which I know sounds weird in this day and age, but I'm glad you asked that, because the short answer is, when you chose to work on a skill of writing and critical thinking by majoring in English, then you would hope that it's something naturally to you. But it's definitely hard. I think it helps to read the great writers, not just in sports, in anything, and it sort of arms you with a better command of the language, and you got judgment. Buddy and Bo are very good at this too. That when is the moment to be humorous, and you always want to engage and entertain your reader. Take 5 minutes to read now, but when is the moment to be more serious? The last few years, from pandemic to NIL, what Buddy said at the time, which I thought was very poignant, which is we need to be careful about what he called the soul of college football, and not tinkering with it. But my question, I'll answer your question, Rob, with a question for Buddy and or Bo. It seems to me that of necessity, because of ESPN and the internet and all of these websites, they have to produce content 24/7, 365 web, just to keep the doors open. And so what I think you get from that is about 30 or 40% of stupid and unnecessary and unwarranted opinions, like Heather Dinich showing up in Auburn, invited by Hugh Freeze, and she decided to tweet about how Auburn people should be really patient with our wide receivers. And it's the third week of spring practice.
Filler.
Do you agree, Buddy, that we get it's harder for writers to serve up meaningful, worthwhile content? We get a lot of BS mixed in with it too.
I do, because they get paid by clicks. If you're careful about being clickbait. But let me say this too. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to lay it to the feet of Nick Saban. Okay.
Yeah.
Saban is a control freak, great coach, maybe the best of all time. But the way of doing business is that he wants to mute everybody. Don't say anything to anybody ever. And I won't say who, but just recently, I know somebody went through this on SEC school. A young reporter came out there to write about practice, and he knows there's certain rules. And he ran into some people he knew he was in class with, and he made the mistake of speaking to them. And then he said on his show, I talked to Joe Blow. He said practice went well. The SID got outraged, called the editor and says he can't be talking about things that happen in practice. That's what we're dealing with right now, okay? That's what we're dealing with. And so it's ridiculous. These young people are trying to do their jobs, but the way that the restrictions they have on them, they can't. They don't want to see it. They want to control every single friggin' word. And that's the truth.
Hey, you can get more out the Coke bottle than Little Napoleon. Oh, did I say that?
Well, Bo, I mean, and I'll throw this one too. We had Gary Harris, Tide 100.9, Channel 23 in Tuscaloosa on Thursday. And I said, Gary, how's practice going at Alabama? And he goes, well, they're on practice number 5 of 15. We don't really know. Once a week, they send out a video that shows what they want us to see. And the local media.
They chisel it on a tablet. They come down from on high.
Yeah, and he goes, the local media is not invited to anything, but if you're from ESPN or one of the national media outlets, they'll bring you in and take you to the yacht club and give you a steak dinner and put a cookie on your pillow at night. I mean, you better thank God you've got the local media. And I'm going to tell you what, I think the reason why there's so much outrage from fans is the ridiculous salaries coaches make. They're reclusive. They think they're better than the people. And we went away from calling them a sports information director to a media relations director, and they think they're czars. These are public universities funded by the taxpayers, and we don't even take this crap. It's ridiculous.
Buddy's friend Steve Spurrier never did that. He was always available. He was always open for questions. Is that right, Buddy? I mean, he's one of the greatest that ever was.
Yeah, but Frank, that ship is sailed. There's no more Steve Spurrier. That's what we're dealing with. We got to play by the rules. It's hard, but as long as we have shows like this, we know people who know people. We can let little things out. We can criticize. And look, we're all in this because we love college sports. We want them to do well. We're their best friends. But when coaches get their $12 million buyouts and leave, they're looking for friends. I ain't going to find them in the media. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And they need to. What I'm saying is, like Doug, go ahead, come in. The local media is, you need to treat them all the same. Open access. Doug, go ahead.
Well, before we run out of time, I was going to say for your listeners and everyone on the show right now, if you have not read the proposal by Mr. Mullet Hairdo, Mike Gundy, about what he would change with NIL in the portal. I see Bo shaking his head. He would have players coming in from high school would decide whether they want a 1-year contract in return for their NIL or 2 or 3 year, and he wants them to be enforceable contracts. And if you sign a 2-year deal, you got to stay at that school unless you're released. And I want to ask Gundy, would the coaches agree to the same thing?
Yeah, what happened?
Well, look, here's a great comment by one of our listeners in Kankakee, Illinois, Boris Karloff. Wow.
Boris writes it a lot.
I thought
Boris Karloff. Shameful to exclude local media and allow national media. Absolutely shameful. There was a time local media was all you had. I mean, I'll tell you something, man. Your buddy, you just said it. You're looking for friends, and you ain't going to find them in the media. Thank you, Boris Karloff. You did the monster mash. That was great.
Friend, buy a dog. Let the reporters do their jobs.
Yeah, but Rob, here's the deal you don't understand. You want to have the experts come in and tell you what's going on, right? You know what the experts are? Somebody's out of town with an opinion. That's what they are, okay?
That will go on the clips on all over social media today. Buddy, Doug, Bo, Frank, buddy, everybody listening. You know what? Thank God we got this freedom of speech. Ben Troop said it the other day. I love coming on Sidelines because it's open format. You're right. The First Amendment is freedom of speech, the right to petition and free assembly. We will never, ever change who we are because that's what we are. Doug, take us out with a little. All
right, here we go. If I can get it.
There you go. There you
Holy mackerel, the turkey's blowing my window just now.
Sounds just like a wild turkey.
Hey, let me just say this, buddy. Your value every time you come on the show goes up. You're a good man. And all the sports writers out there. And Bo Carter, just what you've been saying, keep teaching true grit journalism and listen to people. Everybody, I'm telling you, our job on this show is to engage our guests. Frank at the beach, Doug down in Hale County, the Black Belt down there. It's opening weekend of turkey season in Alabama. All of y'all, buddy, Bo. I'm gonna say
Rob, you keep screaming at the clouds every show too.
Yeah, I'm going after those clouds. We're gonna head over to Wynn, and I appreciate Bo your prayers for the people in Cherry Valley and Wynn, and down in Dothan and Covington and Little Rock. A lot of tornado damage. I don't even know how we're going to get into Wynn. The sheriff said there's certain access routes, but folks, most often we see the face of Christ in the least among us. We live in the greatest country in the history of the world. We are the greatest country because of the people. No other reason. It is the people. I am Floyd R. Turbo American. Remember that character on Johnny Carson? I love that guy, but it's a populist movement. That Sidelines 6 days a week. And if you're looking to buy or sell a home, find Eleanor Maynard Hobson Realty on our website. And Bo, buddy, all of y'all, this is what's so much fun. This is like picking and grinning with Flatt and Scruggs, John Paul Jones, Jimmy Page, Itzhak Perlman, Igor Stravinsky, and Boris Karloff. You can't get any better than this. This is awesome. Buddy, let people know about your awesome show and what you do, because what you do matters. And every time you're on the show, you go up in value like a 207-year-old bottle of French wine in a cellar in the Rhine River Valley or whatever.
Did he just call you 207 years old?
That's about right.
No, I'm saying he goes up in value. Bo Carter, all of y'all.
Rob, I'm seriously considering just starting to just cover women's basketball and bowling. And nothing else. Golf, by the way. Yeah, okay. Tune us in. We need you to come in, join us on Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. Go to Facebook, go to Buddy Martin's show, and comes up, join us. We have a show, Ben Troops on us with every week. And of course, if you care enough about it, subscribe to GatorBayMedia.com and find out what we're writing about. Thank you.
Yeah, the Buddy Martin Show, folks. And you'll get a thing on Twitter, Facebook. It'll click up there like a minute or two before the show. You just tap on it. You can watch the show. But Bo Carter, National Football Foundation, Baseball Writers of America, Doug Dean, A.U. Dose, Frank Duffy, perhaps the world's most interesting man, along with Franz Beard. Fran, you and Franz Beard, you're double not five.
Hey, I want to go pick up Buddy and Bengal 1 with those passes to the Masters. You and I can be there by par 3, buddy. You just let me know. I'll come get you.
And Doug Dean will cook a tenderloin. Hey,
we'll swing by and get Doug and Rob and Bo, and we'll go, man. I'm in.
I'm ready.
Road trip. We'll do our own version of the Skyrise tour. But look, here's the thing. We're here 6 days a week, folks. We bring on great guests like this. You cannot thank people enough. Do yourself a favor. You hear what Buddy and Bo are saying, what Frank's saying, what Doug's saying, all of our guests. Take time to thank the people along the way in life that help you get there. Don't ever miss an opportunity to say thank you. And as for all you people out there that complain every day, I recommend you read a book called The Progress Paradox. While life gets better for Americans, yet people feel worse, and half of them are on some kind of crazy stuff they take every day, go out and get some exercise. Put God first in everything you do, and have a clear vision and a plan, and take up turkey hunting with our man Doug Dean. But we will be back Monday. Until then, our prayers are with these people that got hit by these tornadoes, and we're going to go out there and do our part to try to help, and we'll let you know Monday what else we can do to help. Until then, we are out of here. Play some Skinnerd. See you Monday.